Hi there, Crystal Thompson here with the Studio Caddy project. Can't wait to show you how to make this really fun card. We got embellishments and we are using a ton of the newest release, so stay tuned on what we're using and how we're making this beautiful card. Alright, so for this project we're going to be using some of the newest products. First, we're going to be using the crafty Artsy Trimmings, and we're using the crafty, and I have cut it out already out of my crafty die, and I've done it out of gold foil, so it's really pretty, and essentially this is what it looks like. I haven't separated my dies yet, however I just want to show you what we're using. And then I'm using one of the Creativations Crafty Friends Are the Best, and I'm just using the Friends Are the Best. You don't necessarily have to use a specific stamp set. I mean, you could put Friends or Awesome or whatever different stamps that Studio Caddy has for the bottom sentiment, and we're going to be heat embossing that in gold onto a black piece of cardstock. And then we have the Artsy Trimmings, and we're going to be using the array of pencils, and we are going to be splitting those into two pieces of cardstock. So I have a piece of yellow cardstock, and we're going to do the heat embossing in clear heat embossing, and then we're going to do stamping on some white piece of cardstock. And so essentially it's just the half off your A2 size card. So we're going to begin by stamping the Artsy Trimmings onto our white piece of cardstock, and we're going to be doing this with some black alcohol friendly ink. And so we're just going to ink it up, and I have it on my MISTI, and the reason why is that we'll be using it for both the heat embossing and the stamping with the alcohol friendly ink. So we're going to stamp that down, and I love projects that don't require a ton of coloring, and this is one of them. I'm really loving these pencils and art supplies, and it's going to make a super fun card. So we're just going to stamp this all the way through, make sure that we have some nice clear and crisp images, and we're just going to do it a third time, and it's ready to go. So now we're going to set this aside. We're going to remove our cardstock, set it aside to dry. You want to be sure that it's completely dry before we begin coloring it with our Copics. Then I'm going to clean off the stamp because we're going to bring in the cardstock. So here we go. This is just a yellow piece of cardstock. I'm going to use a little piece of purple tape to hold it down to our foam. Then we're going to grab our heat embossing ink pad. We're going to ink it up. Okay, and then once it's fully inked, we're going to bring it over. And so this is going to be the top of your card. Your white strip's going to come right here, and then you're going to have your black sentiment and your crafty, and it's all going to look super fun. I'm really quite pleased with the way this has already inked up, so you can see it just a little bit. So we're going to grab the white embossing powder, or excuse me, the clear embossing powder, and I'm working really quickly because I don't want my embossing ink to dry up. And then be sure that if you're following the clear heat embossing after you use your black, be sure that your stamp is completely clean, or you'll end up with some black heat embossing, and that's okay, but that's not what we're going for. So we're going to heat set this and come back with our coloring. Alrighty friends, so it is fully done, and let me show you. It kind of just really pops up very softly, and that's the whole point. We don't want it to be too bold because we have bold down here. Okay, so we're going to bring this down. We are going to bring corner to corner. So grab those kindergarten skills again, right? We're going to bring corner to corner. And that way, your little pencils and all this will line up. And even though it's not exactly, obviously, the paint isn't lining up with this paint, most of them do end up lining up, and it works out really nicely. So I have an array of Copics, and I'm going to fast forward this coloring, but I'm going to show you all the details on how we got this done because I do want you to learn and see how I got my coloring. So we're going to begin with all the yellow, and we're going to just do 2 shades per image, and so that makes it the coloring super fast. All right, so I fully colored this. Let me bring this up to camera so you guys can see how cool and how easy it is. Super easy, 2 colors per image really. And some of them, I just did 1 color per image. So super, super easy. It's very colorful, very happy. And see, it's all up to you what you choose to do with this at this point. You can have the colors go down or you have the colors go up, but you still have this really pretty borders. So now what we're going to do is we're going to bring in our black strip that I had mentioned earlier, and we're using the Crafty Friends Are the Best, and we're just going to be using the Friends Are the Best, and we're going to mask the sentiment because we don't want that crafty. We're just trying to get Friends Are the Best because we have a crafty in die form. So we're going to ink it up, and you don't have to necessarily mask it if you don't want to, but I felt like I needed to. But if you're really good in regards to hand control, more power to you, girl. So we're gonna stamp down, and then we're gonna bring in our gold heat embossing. And you can use whatever color you want. I'm just using gold because I had die cut my crafty out of gold. And then if you have little itty bitty guys that snuck out from the crafty, just kind of clean them off with a brush or your finger, and that's exactly what I'm going to do, just to remove any specks. Okay, and then go ahead and heat set at this point. And I'm going to turn on my gun. And it's really pretty how it pops up. We're going to move this, and then again, you choose where do you want to go with this. So do you want to put it this way? Let me go bring that crafty out of our crafty die. Or you could do it the other way. So gives you options when you do this. You can either do one of each. But I'm really digging the color up. It's very, very festive. So I'm going to turn this around. I'm going to grab my Tombow runner. I'm going to add some of this runner and adhesive following those lines, and then I'm going to put it right where that cut is in the cardstock. Okay. I'm just trying to line up my edges, and we're going to have that down. And then using liquid or runner, you can do the crafty. So I'm just going to use my runner. Being very careful not to tear my die because it has a lot of like squigglies and lots of curvature onto this. And then we're going to place this. Okay. I'm loving this. And then at this point, you can go ahead and embellish if you choose. But for the purposes of this video, I'm going to let it be. You guys know how to embellish, of course. And that's how we do this split coloring card. I am loving using the Crafty Friends Are the Best. And we're using new products from the Studio Katia newest release. Guys, be sure to give this video a thumbs up and let me know your thoughts below. Thanks so much. Have a lovely day.